So there are a lot of amazing movies created by Studio Ghibli. Titles such as Spirited Away that deal with fantastical adventures in an imaginary world, and others like The Wind Rises, which deals with the hardships of life and love in a personal way that hits home. But today I want to talk about what is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, Whisper of the Heart. Now, you may be familiar with the movie Whisper of the Heart, and even if you have never watched it, you definitely have heard its theme song, Country Roads. We learned that Country Roads is the theme song very early on, since it is played in the title sequence. The theme song, however, has nothing to do with the story of the movie, so don't get too excited, country music fans. Whisper of the Heart tells the story of Shizuku Tsukushima, a 14-year-old girl living in Tokyo, and her quest to find her place in the world. Shizuku has a friend, Yuku Harada, and lives with her parents and older sister. The first main thing that we learn about her is that she loves to read books, especially fairy tales. The school's library is her second home, and she has been intrigued by someone named Seiji Amasawa, who has previously checked all of the books she picked. She wonders if this Seiji could possibly be her soulmate, and she even falls in love with him in some way just by fantasizing on who he could be. She also likes to write songs, and wrote one specifically to the tune of, you guessed it, Country Roads. But she titled it Concrete Roads, describing what life is like in her city. The first instigator in the story is a boy in school who teases her lyrics for Concrete Roads. After that, she claims that she hates this boy. Although Shizuku likes reading books, she's not very fond of school material. She struggles with tests and studying, and her family worries about her future. One day after school, she follows a cat in the train who leads to an antique shop ran by Shiro Nishi. Among many other amazing pieces of art and machinery, she comes across a cat statuette named the Baron. This Baron is the one shown in the DVD, but don't get too excited. This is not one of those movies where toys gain life.
No! Woody?
What this cat does in fact do is spark creativity and inspiration in the eyes of Shizuku. With the Baron in mind, she asks Nishi to come again another day. The next time Shizuku goes to the shop, she finds that boy again. The boy happens to be Nishi's grandson, and he invites Shizuku to come to the workshop. The boy also tells Shizuku that the cat she followed from the train is a neighborhood stray known as Muta. There, he tells Shizuku that the Baron will never be sold because Nishi is looking for the Baroness, Louise. In the workshop, she discovers his passion for making violins. The boy wants to go to Italy to become a master luthier, and intends to drop out of school to pursue his dreams. Learning about this gives Shizuku all the more reason to do the same in order to pursue her dreams of being a writer of novels. She sees this boy as the personification of resolve and dedication, and concludes that she too must do the same if she wants to succeed. The boy starts to play a song, you guessed it, Country Roads, and Shizuku sings along. When Nishi comes to the workshop and accompanies with his instrument as they play, he addresses the boy as Seiji, thus revealing that this boy is actually the one who had been checking the same books as her. The way and time she found out about his true identity work in favor of their relationship. If she had found it when he was rude to her at school or when they were not very close, she would probably have seen it in a more negative light. But since she learned it as they were closer friends, it was definitely easier for her to accept him as the one she considered to be her soulmate. A couple days later, Seiji leaves for Italy, where he will study for 2 months with a master violin maker. But before doing that, he reveals that he had been checking out a lot of the books that he imagined she would read on purpose. He hoped that by doing this, at some point she would get curious about him. Seiji also admits to Shizuku that he admires her talents as a writer, and that he looks forward to seeing what she will be able to accomplish in the future. With that, Shizuku decides to test her capability as a novel writer and works intensely during that 2-month period. What this movie does that is rare to see is how a loving relationship, even with just middle schoolers, can work as an enhancement for both people, where the passion and determination of one propagates to the other. Shizuku writes a fantasy action story with herself as the protagonist, the Baron as a hero who is looking for his lost love, Louise, and the cat she followed from the train, Muta, as the villain who took Louise from the Baron. With her dedication to writing increasing, her devotion to her schoolwork declines. After being questioned by her parents, she argues over her grades and even considers not going to high school. By trying to finish her story before Seiji returns, she starts to feel suffocated by the possibility of failing and begins to lose motivation. When she finally finishes her story and gives it to Nishi for him to read, we await his reading along with Shizuku. This scene is followed by her breaking down in tears as she feels the weight lift off her shoulders. And Nishi? What a heartless man. He actually criticized her story after seeing how detrimental the process was for her mental health. That is the physical impersonation of tough love right there. In order to calm her down, Nishi gives her a bowl of noodles, I think it's noodles, and tells her the real life story of the Baron. Nishi found the Baron in a cafe in Germany. He was captivated by his expression, so he begged the owner of the cafe to let him buy the Baron, but the owner refused to sell it. He said the Baron had a female companion who was away for repairs. The two of them made such a beautiful couple, he didn't think it was right to separate them. So Nishi told him that as soon as the Baroness was repaired, he'd buy them both. Louise was actually the name of a woman Nishi went to school with. They both became very close and every day they'd meet at the cafe to see if the Baroness had returned. She pleaded with the cafe owner to sell Nishi the Baron. She promised to buy the Baroness and hold on to her until the two statues could be reunited. Finally, the cafe owner agreed and Nishi left for Japan with the Baron. He promised Louise that he would return to Germany as soon as possible, and he vowed that when the Baron and Baroness were reunited, so would they be. But the war began soon after his departure, and he wasn't able to return to Germany until many years later. Nishi visited the cafe and searched all over Germany but could not find her. He never saw Louise or the Baroness ever again. This story told by Nishi really gives closure to the viewer on the story of the Baron. We are given glimpses of the real story, like when Nishi dreams of Louise opening the door of the shop. But now we have the full context of why the Baron represents so much to him. It represents the story of his life, the love that was declined to him by outside factors, and the destiny of his life that was decided by inopportune events. And as the relationship between the Baron and the Baroness represented the love between Nishi and Louise, having Shizuku create the story gave new life to what was only a memory to him. Shizuku then decides that she still wants to learn more about writing and will attend high school. She tells her mother that she will study for her entrance exams full-time from now on. Early in the morning, she finds Seiji on his bicycle outside her window, and he asks for her to come with him. He explains that he will finish high school before returning to Italy. They both ride to the top of a hill and watch the sun rise over the city, where Seiji confesses his love for Shizuku and asks for them to marry someday in the future. And she accepts. With that, the movie ends. And what song is played as the credits roll? You guessed it again! Country Roads! This story is splendid. It really astonishes me how this movie digs so deep in what it means to follow your own dreams. Some days you will feel like giving up and forgetting about what you have desired for so long, and the feeling of achieving what you wanted might actually be relief instead of the so-called happiness. The message of this movie to me is that dreams are important and they are really what moves us. Without dreams, we wouldn't have anything today. It is important to nurture those dreams, even if it might look scary or easier to just push it to the side for later. So yeah, apparently this has become a motivational video. I wasn't expecting it to happen, but it is what it is.
It is what it is!
This video took a lot of effort to be made, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're still here, type pasta in the comments. And yeah, that's it.